Hey guys, it's Samara, and here's my chat with Mikey. We're doing a random 30.
Go ahead and pull up on me. Pull up.
Corona? I heard you got Corona. What's going on? Surely you're done with this Rona stuff already.
Honestly, it could only happen to me. It could only happen to me. If you knew me,
Yeah.
I'm someone that has the most random stuff happen to me all the time. My friends weren't even shocked.
Really?
But yeah, it was really hard.
Yeah.
I was pretty fortunate though. I didn't get the respiratory issues that a lot of people did get.
Yeah, right.
Because I have a really bad history of asthma and
Okay.
pneumonia as well. So I was shitting myself when I got the call from the hospital. I was on the phone to my best friend and they called me 5 times in a row. And I was like, and it was a private number. And I was like, oh, what's this? And my best friend goes, oh my gosh, it's the hospital. And I was like,
Oh,
they're not going to be
no.
calling me, if I was negative. So I took the call and they were like, you're positive and we just need to monitor you because of your history. And then basically that was it. By day 1 to 3, I was fine. So I landed in Melbourne from America.
When did you get it?
I got it on, I think it was the 21st of March. Yeah.
Right. So 23rd. So have you been somewhere? Or did you?
I was in
said you
America.
Oh, right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So
Playing football.
yeah. So what happened? So, or what do they do?
So I got off the plane and so at the airport in Houston,
Yeah.
I had like a little bit of a tickle in my throat. And I was like, it's just a cold. Don't freak out. Don't let paranoia get the better of you.
Yeah.
Got on the plane. I was fine because I felt 100% aside from the little tickle.
Yeah.
Got on the plane, landed in Melbourne, and from Los Angeles to Melbourne, the symptoms did start to get worse. Like I started to get a bit of a cough, nothing major, but I was like, oh, this isn't right. So landed at Melbourne and they were saying, anyone with symptoms, please come up to airport officials and report it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to go up and report my symptoms.
Right.
When the first lady and she goes, oh, how long have you been experiencing symptoms for? And I said, not long, just the flight. She goes, where did you come from? I said, America. She goes, oh, America's not high risk. Don't worry about it. Go through. And I was like, okay.
What?
Went through customs and there was a quarantine. Yeah, there was a quarantine area set up there. And so the quarantine area like, how are you feeling? I said, I actually reported symptoms to another airport official and they told me not to worry. They go, oh, what kind of symptoms are you going through? I said, tickle. It started off as a tickle. It's progressed to a cough. And he goes, oh, you're from America? I said, yeah. He goes, nah, don't worry, go home. And I was like, wow, like this is something that's stopping the world, yet you're allowing me to just go, nah, don't worry about symptoms.
And a lot of that happens. Like a lot of that happened even to people that were in Australia. I know a lot of my friends, they had, they might have had a little dry cough, or they might have had a headache, or they might have been tired, whatever, that was symptoms of COVID, but they wouldn't test. It's like, well, hang on. If they had it, they need to then go into quarantine. And I think a lot of this is the problem that, people weren't getting tested.
Yep. It was a massive problem. And so lucky, I'm a pretty intuitive person. So I came home, put my bags upstairs and just got in my car and drove straight to the Alfred Hospital. And I was like, I'm going to go get tested. And all my friends are going, we want to see you. We want to hear about the American trip. How was it? Let's catch up. And I said, nah, I want to get my test results back and then we can go from there. Lucky that I did that because I got to the Alfred. They tested me immediately. And in 24 hours, boom, my test results were back. But I could have infected so many people.
Exactly.
If I had caught up with my friends.
So did you say to the hospital your experience at the airport with those, customs people, whoever they are, that you told them and they said, nah, keep going?
I sure did.
What did they say?
They were just like, oh, like it's different protocols here. Obviously, because you've traveled, you will then have automatic testing ability. And I said, okay. So, they tested me and look, a lot of people were complaining about the next issue for me was that when I had the test done, there were 2 swabs, right? nothing different to the swabs that you would see if you were not getting a normal mouth swab at the GP.
Right, okay. Was this one in the nose?
One in the nose, one in the throat.
Right, okay. Did it hurt?
So that I saw on Facebook so many people like saying it was horrific, it was traumatic, and I was like, really? I was like, guys, it's just a swab. Like,
But
it
the
was
nose
nothing.
one, it goes in quite far.
But you are in control of it. So you're putting the swab in your nose and you're just touching the tip up here.
Oh, so the doctor or the nurse isn't doing it. You're actually doing it.
You're doing it. So you're literally just going like this, moving it around,
Yeah.
and then saying, it was fine. People are so dramatic. So dramatic. So, but what baffled me was that from looking at these swabs,
Yeah.
how are they so out of testing, like the facilities, that at one time there was an excuse that there just wasn't enough tests to go around. But in my head, I'm like, those were the standard swabs for someone who's been in and out of hospital a lot. Swabs, and I'm like, that's pretty standard.
So really it's like, meh, let's just do it. Let's just see what happens. But it obviously came positive, and you were in the hospital when it became positive. So,
No, next day.
oh, it was the next day. So they didn't keep you in just in case.
Send you home.
So, what? See, that none of that kind of doesn't make sense, really, because if they're testing you because you feel that you may have it, well, do you have to go in isolation at home? Don't go near anyone? Like, how do they control that?
So anyone who travelled or has symptoms has to self-isolate for 14 days.
Yeah. So you've just come in. Actually, did they bring it in? I'm just trying to think. Did they bring that in before you turned up? Or were you in the cutoff?
They just brought it in.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Just. But it was still very grey. It was a grey area.
Yeah. So you got tested positive. What happened? Like, what happened to you yourself? Like, did you struggle breathing? Were you tired? What was it? What's going on?
So when the day I landed, aside from the slight tickle,
Yeah.
no other symptoms. So I was laughing to my best friend. I'm like, I'm fine. I feel great,
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And then once I got tested positive, whether that was a mental thing as well or the symptoms then started to take me, day 4 was when it started to go downhill. So I started to get severe fatigue. I had body aches all through my bones.
Wow.
I lost appetite entirely. And then I'd have this sinus headache that sat right there.
Yeah.
And it felt I couldn't speak properly because it was that blocked.
Yeah.
So for me, I never had any breathing issues.
Okay.
Which was very, very strange because of my history with asthma and pneumonia. You would think I would be susceptible to the breathing difficulties more than most. But no, I never had breathing difficulties. I lost all taste and smell. I couldn't taste raw ginger. I couldn't smell Vicks. Nothing.
Wow, because that was a late thing that they announced, that you would lose your taste. But
correct.
Wow. So I mean, Vicks is quite, strong, but you couldn't smell that in any way. Not one part of Vicks could you smell.
I put it up my nose
Yeah.
to try and relieve the blockage.
Yeah.
I couldn't smell it.
Wow.
Yeah, so I practically cried when I could first taste my donut. Like, I was so happy.
A donut to get you through.
I had to. Everybody knows I love donuts, so all my friends were like sending me beautiful things to my house.
Yeah.
And the first donut I could taste, I honestly did it.
Boxes and boxes of donuts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, that was really happy.
Out of all things food in the world, and you're just going with the donut.
100%.
What kind was it?
Donuts. It was caramel infused with chocolate icing on the top and like
Oh gosh! Oh wow!
Look, you go all out or you go home. That's what I live by.
Yeah. Now I feel like a donut. Really?
They're the best. I love.
So how long did you have those symptoms and stuff for?
So that was day 4. By day 5, 6, 7 were the worst for me. I was so lethargic. I wasn't sleeping properly. And basically, I've never had a flu where you would be so blocked in your head one day and then the next day, full-blown runny nose.
Yeah, right.
So I've
right.
never had something that had rapidly changing symptoms like that. So yeah, day 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Day 10, I was starting to get back on the mend.
Wow.
So yeah, day 10, I was like starting to regain my strength, which was when DHS called me and they asked me my symptoms, and they had obviously ascertained that I was no longer contagious. And that's when they gave me my clearance.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that they've...
Right.
Sorry.
No, you're right. How did they retest you? Did they come to your house?
They didn't retest me.
So how do you and I guess the docs know that you still don't have it?
So they said to me that testing after the fact is inaccurate, and there's no way of actually measuring whether you're still positive, because the virus is dead within the system but can still hang around. So this is the grey area that kind of concerned me a lot, because I was like, how do you know that I'm actually no longer carrying a contagious virus? But they gave me a full letter of clearance. So there's obviously scientific evidence to back up the fact that the virus can't be contagious after day 7. And then they give you day 10 as like a couple of days leniency.
That's very interesting, because Richard Wilkins, he had it and he was in the whole isolation thing. But he kept being tested and it came back positive. I think he was in quarantine for, I honestly think it was more than 2 weeks, the 14-day thing. So that's interesting that they weren't going to test you. So
because they must have found cases like that, for instance, where they could test you and you still be positive, but the virus be dead in the system.
Right. Wow. It's so interesting, isn't it?
It is, and it's scary that there isn't much about the contagious side of it online. Like you don't hear media pushing that, or the hospitals actually releasing statistics around that.
Yeah.
But look, obviously I wasn't contagious, and they were correct, because I went out exercising with my friends and nobody got sick.
Yeah. For someone that yourself that had pneumonia, that's a very bad flu, let's call it. How different do you find COVID compared to something like that? Because a lot of the rumor is, it's just a bad flu, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is it clearly isn't. So for you, as had pneumonia and you've had COVID, what difference did you see?
To be honest, not much.
Okay. So
that's my honest opinion.
Yeah. Why do you think the world and the government, as someone who's had it, has gone down the track of, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to spend all this money, we need to save business, all that kind of thing, when by the sounds of it, not holding you against it, by the sounds of it, it's kind of no different to a yearly pneumonia that someone gets, or maybe a flu. Like, why do you think it's gone down to where it's gone now around the world?
It's a very touchy subject, and obviously people have really strong opinions and feel so differently about it. For me personally, the hardest thing for me was that the fear, not actually of how bad the virus was itself, was how the media made me feel when I had it. Because all I'm thinking is, I'm going to die.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, it's been made out to be whoa, whoa, whoa. When you've got it, but okay, it's going to be okay.
The other side that I look at it, right, is that I have been through sicknesses my whole childhood. I had pneumonia like 5 times. So for me, maybe if the average person had have got it that hasn't had all those sicknesses, like I've got a pretty good pain tolerance, maybe it would have been a lot worse for them. I'm not sure.
If you're putting a swab up your nose.
Look, I've been around the medical system. I'm familiar with it. So look, it could have been a lot worse for other people, but it's so hard. The thing is with this virus, is my conclusion that I've made, it attacks everybody so different. Yeah. And I think that is what warranted the scare, because a lot of people, for instance, when they first rolled out this pandemic, it was, have you got a fever? Now, not once did I have a fever. And that was their main symptom that they were, pushing into everybody.
Yeah, right.
What fever? If you don't have a fever, you don't qualify. I never had a fever.
Wow.
So, and then I've also spoken to people who've just literally had some sniffles, no other symptoms. So I think that they took precautionary measures to be like, you know what, let's just say that it could either be minute or it could be critical.
Yeah.
I just haven't personally been able to speak to someone who got into that critical stage.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, there's a lot of theories. I have my own.
Yeah.
I just think that it's a really difficult one because
very hard.
Very hard. Like, you can only go off what the media is telling you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, really hard. I think I became more scared about it, more so in the economical side of things, for small businesses and for, our kids who are going to be paying back these big dollars that they're spending out. And it's all great that they're doing it to keep people employed and business and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's such a hard thing with it. And, is it kind of just a bad flu? Just saying, like.
Yep. I mean, I 100% agree with you. And at the beginning, I had a very different opinion of it as opposed to then being recovered, going through it, researching it. I think that part of me almost wishes that we did what Sweden did and we continued to operate as normal, right, and ride out herd immunity. Yeah. I know that there's an 85% recovery rate with the virus. Yeah. But my main concern is domestic violence. Imagine being stuck in you're not safe in. Yeah. You've got children in the mix. And then plus what's happening to businesses that just aren't going to be able to recover from this.
Absolutely.
It's such a drastic shutdown of the world for something that could be or could not be critical.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think it's gone down the track of, okay, it's going to be made worse really than, I mean, it's hard to say, but we're all entitled to our opinions. Mine, I believe it's been made out something that it shouldn't have been, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I think, yes, it's very bad. Yes, we've had some deaths and it's so, so sad. But I honestly think it's no different to a flu as people dying. But then we look at all this money that's been rolled out, yet we have people that have mental illnesses, we have domestic violence, we have suicide, which really is worse, for Australia, and I can only talk in Australia, is worse than the figures of the 70-odd people that have passed away from this. None of it makes sense to me.
We've lost 1.1 million people to cancer already in 2020.
Hence my point.
And cancer, so for me, is a touchy subject because I've lost both my parents to cancer. So when we're talking those kind of statistics versus something I've recovered from and recovered well from, it's hard. It's very hard, for sure.
It's very sad. I mean, it's one of those things, but I mean, we can't control what the government are putting in place and the restrictions. It's one of those things. But bottom line, I think the recovery rate is it's nearly 100% with the amount of people that. So, I don't know. It's one of those things. But it's interesting to get a side of someone who's had it. It's very interesting. But are you well now?
I'm pretty well, yeah. I have started boxing again, which is something that I love. I haven't done for a while, and my lungs have struggled. My doctor has said to me that they aren't in the strongest way, but look, I'm just going to work on it every day. It's just a matter of rebuilding strength like anything. But, crazy, crazy times. And the reason why I was so happy to speak openly about it with all the media was because I want people to know, we're in a time where it's a global pandemic. Yeah. So if you can learn, it's very scary for everybody. So I had hundreds of people contact me with questions since, I've had publications and interviews and whatnot. So, and I encourage people to come forward, ask me questions. Yeah. Most of the time I don't bite. So if you want to ask me questions, 100%, I am all for sharing my story and getting it out there. And yeah,
it's a very interesting story, but on a not really a funny side thing. It's idiotic that we've had to have this to get people to wash their bloody hands. Like, wash your hands.
Yeah.
You should be doing it anyway. We shouldn't be told by a government to wash our bloody hands.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Like,
Stop touching your face. Doing couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Anyway, let's talk about some music because this is cool. With your music, you've been around music most of your life, but it was 2014 when you unfortunately lost your mum, you mentioned before. Why was it that point, losing your mum, that you've gone, okay, it is, let's go, music? What was it?
It was the fact that I had a really harsh realization that you only live once.
Yeah.
So, and look, it's cliche. A lot of people can be out there pushing you live once, live life to the fullest. But for me, it was a matter of showing you how something you relied upon that was a huge part of your life can be taken like that.
Yeah.
So I encourage people, no matter how big or scary the dream is, that the sooner you start chasing what you actually love, the sooner that you'll reap the benefits and get on the right path.
I love that.
Because so many people, and to this day, I'm not going to lie, what I've gone through has made me a harsher and tougher kind of person. It's made me more resilient. But with music, I was never naturally gifted. I never was one of those. I could always write. I loved songwriting. But straight up, I was tone deaf. I couldn't hear the piano. I couldn't hear notes, but it was what I loved. And so I made a vow to myself to get a team together that were willing to help me, get my dream off the ground. And believe it or not, I've trained my ear. I had so many producers say to me, you'll never be a singer. You just don't have that. Because I couldn't hear properly. I was just not a naturally gifted musician. And I was so hell-bent on the fact that I've been through enough shit in my life that I could make anything happen if you put in the work. Yeah. And that's why my motto is hard work will always beat talent when talent doesn't work hard, because it's true. It doesn't matter. If you can sing like Mariah Carey, it's not going to get you anywhere these days. You've got to have work ethic. Yeah. So I trained my ear and I've proved every person wrong.
It's so interesting. A lot of comments on these talent shows that you see is that, you can sing, but you don't look very good, for example, or you're not working ethics very well, and all the excuses underneath you can sing, but if you have that drive and that, let's make this happen and let's work with people and let's train yourself, you can still sing, but you've got to do this and sort this out to get to here. And it's very interesting. Yeah.
See how quickly 30 minutes went?
30 minutes. Whoa. Wow. We're just going on. Wow. I think it's nearly over already. The single Pull Up. I like it. It's so cool. Yeah. Awesome. Tell me about it. Tell me.
It was it's my favorite release to date. It's been really well received. I wanted to do something with a little bit of JLo vibes, a little bit of Cassie vibes, take it back old school, but still give it a little bit of a newish sound. So,
I'm glad you said JLo, because I was going to say it's very JLo, very Destiny's Child for me.
Yes, I love that. It made my day.
Yeah, it's very, very much that. Very much that. But you've worked with a producer that's worked with artists that's high up in the industry. Yeah, so how did the person deal with the song to get it to where it is?
So the songwriter that I worked with, Mickey, who's now become a friend of mine, she's based out of LA. She's written for Britney Spears, Janet Jackson. She is incredible, platinum award winning, and she is such an incredible mentor, because she'll come up, she'll get me to put down my concept, my ideas, write what I can, and then she'll tweak it and mold it into a really catchy melody, which is amazing. We work really well together.
How long is that process? Did you wrote the song, yeah?
Yeah, correct.
But how long is that process of going, here it is, now here it is?
The songwriting for me is the quickest because it
Yeah.
comes so natural. I could write out a song in 15 minutes straight.
Really?
Like the writing part of it's the easiest. So for me, her and I can write 5 songs in a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you do, is it when you write a song, is it the base of the song and then you start working it and that can take maybe a couple of weeks, or it's just, hey, I like it, but it's the music behind it maybe that changes it to bring it out a bit more?
It depends. Every songwriter and artist is so different with their approach
Yeah.
with this. I like to write first with no music and then I'll get a beat made to what I want to write about.
Wow.
Whereas some artists hear my method and they're like, she's crazy. I need the music to get the feel to write to it. But I'm very like an analytical person. So I put pen to paper and then I'll put the music to that.
Are you writing just for yourself or are you writing for other artists as well?
Just myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you going to get yourself out there with other artists? Because if that song, in my opinion, is very JLo, very Destiny's Childish, what do you want to write for other artists? Because that could be a big step. Like if that's what you can produce and that's what's happening, then why not?
Yeah. Well, look, I have Mickey to thank for it. Like she obviously adds her really professional, and she'll listen to something and just know straight away whether scrap that, tweak that, add this kind of to get you really hooked.
Yeah. Right.
But it's I would definitely do it for other artists, 100%. Down the track, I'm just trying to nail my own kind of look, feel, and get my own music out there as much as possible.
Wow. So cool. What are your plans for 2020 for the rest of it? I mean, get over COVID. We'll get rid of that. But I mean, you Pull Up, it's out now. What are the plans for 2020?
Pull Up is out now. And my goal was to release music every 8 weeks. I'm going to be pushing it to get it done.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've set up like a little studio area in my house. So I'm going to start trialing with the producers in America to get me, studio quality recordings out of my house.
Yep.
And my next release is going to be ready on the 26th of June.
26th of June. Can you give us a sneak peek?
No, I can't because it's not. It's not finished yet, and I haven't. I've got like a few bits and pieces I want to tweak, but it's going to come out on the 26th of June, and I still haven't decided on the name. It's going to be one of 2 names, so I don't want to like give you like too much and then it be totally changed.
Well, let's help you choose a name. Like, give us a few lines, and we'll help you choose a name. We'll do it right here, right now.
No, I want to keep it under wraps and then make a big boom with its entrance.
Oh, well, we could have helped.
Do a poll. I should actually do a poll on my social media and ask the people, but I'm just kind of stuck between 2 titles. One of them is a song that was done by Cassie, Me and You, which I don't want to copy her title. And the other one is I'll Ride. And now when I say I'll Ride, some people automatically think sexual, and I don't want them to think that. It's like
I was about to say, combine them. I'll Ride Me and You.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? It's not a sexual song though, so I don't want, like, it's more so like a Bonnie and Clyde, I'll ride with you type of thing.
Yeah.
Not I'll ride with you.
Wow.
That's where I'm stuck. So look, yeah.
So did you want my help choosing the name, or you're right?
I am good. Thank you so much though.
Oh, wow. Is it 1 o'clock yet? Oh, geez. All right. Before we let you go, we're going to have a little game. Do you want to play a 5 random question game? Do you want to play?
Let's play.
It's putting you right on the spot. See, you don't even know what the questions are. They could be anything. I've got them here.
I'm down for a challenge.
You're down for a challenge?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. What's the last thing you ate? And don't say a donut.
It was an omelette. I cooked myself an omelette.
Oh, that sounds very gourmet. What was in it? This isn't the question, by the way.
Mushroom, cheese, onion, and egg.
Yeah, right. All right. Mushroom, cheese, onion. Okay. What's a bad thing that's happened to you while being on stage?
It would just,
Have you done a Britney or a Madonna and fallen over?
I haven't. Thank gosh. Touch wood. That has not happened to me. But look, I think getting nerves
Really?
gets you every time. Yeah.
What
The
do
last
you
time
get nervous about?
it's anything could go wrong, you know, and some people it's like it's such a judgmental thing where when you get up and you're performing and you're kind of like bearing yourself to random people that you can just see on some people's faces sometimes that they're not digging it or they're digging it. So like you just don't know which way it's going to go. But yeah, look, I'm grateful that I haven't had too many like real nervous scenarios.
Right.
I'm a pretty confident person.
Okay. I think I know the answer to this next question. I'm going to ask it anyway. What food can't you live without?
Oh, should be a part owner in Krispy Kreme, I'm telling you. Donuts. 100%.
Oh, I knew that was coming. What's your go-to song? But it can't be one of your own.
Ooh, that's a tough question. I'm going to say Survivor, Destiny's Child.
Oh, JLo, Survivor. See? Oh, I know. I've got this. I've got this. All right. The final question in the random five. What is the final photo you took? The last thing you took on your phone? Here we go. A live check.
Oh,
Can
gosh.
you show it?
It is. Okay, the last photo that I took, it's actually of a meme.
Oh, we love memes.
You love memes?
Okay, go.
Okay, it says the problem is everyone is looking for unconditional love carrying a bag full of conditions.
Wow.
I like it because I was like, that's real.
Yeah.
I was like, that is true. Everyone wants unconditional love, yet they've got all these conditions. Like, come on. I was like, I can relate to that. So yeah, there you have it. That's my 5 questions.
Yeah, you have 5 questions and you've done it. And it's all about donuts.
And I'm 10 minutes late now.
It can all happen. The new single.
That's why we ran over.
I know. It's like, I wasn't expecting half an hour. Wow. Hey, love the new single, Pull Up. We're playing it on the show next week, which is awesome. So yeah, it's gonna happen there. Love that, Samara. Thanks so much for joining us.
No, thank you for having me, and take care through these times. And anytime you want to chat, hit me up.
Hey there, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, or you can hit us up on our social media as well at Random 30 Countdown. See you next time.